We will take a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, is there board member statements? Hearing none, we will pass it on to Dr. Friedman's superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Buenas tardes a todos. Good evening and welcome everyone. This week, I begin my 19th and final year as superintendent of the Littleton Elementary School District. Working with leaders whose commitment to our students is unwavering, as well as teachers and support personnel committed to always doing what's best for kids, has been an honor and a privilege. I'll always treasure the work we have done together. The staff and our kids have been like my family. I loved serving this community, but the time for change has come.
New sidewalk.
New sidewalk. The start of every school year feels like we're starting over, and this has its advantages. We're building on a foundation of reflection, reconciliation, recommitment to continued improvement, no exceptions. It is time this year to capitalize on the work of growing learning communities so that working together leads to strong student achievement. Last year, our student membership grew by just over 300 students. Enrollment's expected to continue growing. Our daily actions are what demonstrate the benefits of selecting Littleton Academies to our students and their families, believing that each attempt in teaching and learning is an opportunity for growth. Along with creating opportunity, we need to grow our academic achievement. As treasure hunters, the path to success can be continually reimagined for our students, for their families, and for ourselves. Together with staff, we're excited that Lakin Prep Academy will grow to include 6th grade this year, and we're expanding preschool opportunities for our youngest learners on additional campuses. We acknowledge the increasing engagement challenge across the whole school community, not just here in Littleton, but across the whole country. And our board has approved additional staff to help support future efforts in that this year. Commitment and resilience are essential to our continuous improvement, so we'll have a uniquely engaging pre-service this year. We're going to start with a leadership retreat tomorrow, and then orientation for new staff on Friday. Professional development activities for our newest teachers starts on Monday, July 15th. On July 18th, our second-year teachers join in, and our third-year teachers starting on professional development on July 19th. The whole staff begins pre-service activities on July 22nd. Two great opportunities will take place July 25th. In the morning, the staff will be treated to an amazing motivational speaker, Han Du, to help the entire staff kick off the year strong. Meet the Teacher Night is later that same day, July 29th, from 5 to 7 p.m. And we hope all of our families will attend. This is a great opportunity for parents and students to build relationships, understand expectations, familiarize themselves with their new classrooms, and it also reduces first day jitters for students as they may be able to recognize their teacher. In short, it helps everybody start the year strong. Students start better together on Monday, July 29th. For the past several years, we've started school on a Wednesday with our typical Wednesday early release bell schedule. This year, after consulting and considering feedback from staff and community members, we're starting on a Monday. So to make that adjustment getting back to class, we will have early release schedule the first 3 days of attendance. Then we're going to return to the familiar rhythm of longer days on Thursdays, Fridays, Mondays, and Tuesdays with professional development and early release each Wednesday. Our school starts days are the same times as last year. So the 7:30 start is Country Place, Littleton STEM, Lakin Prep, and Tres Rios. The 8:25 start is Collier Business, Fine Arts, Estrella Vista STEM, and Quinton STEM. Early release is at 12:10 and 1:05, giving everybody time to adapt to their new routines. We'll continue to focus on student attendance, and we hope to celebrate even more students in 2024 and 2025 who don't miss a single day of school, amongst many other student accomplishments. Now, student transportation should look a lot like it did last year. We encourage parents to talk to their children about the importance of staying seated, listening to the driver, avoiding distractions on the bus. Parents can help their children feel confident and safe as they check out the stop and the route before school starting. Please ensure children are on time at the bus stop to avoid rushing or delays down the route, which are pretty typical the first few days of school. Our transportation staff works hard to communicate and keep our students safe, but we can be better and stronger when we work together for the same goal. It's also great to build excitement for the new year, so letting our children, students know that they can rise just about above anything and make every day of school into a positive experience. So finally, I'd like to extend an invitation to our community to attend the Fine Arts Academy rededication to the Freeman Fine Arts Academy. The name was approved when the school opened, but it was postponed until my retirement. For those who don't know my background, I was seriously injured in high school, so I was kept busy in art, music, and theater. My baccalaureate included several hours in art and science, so I'm actually certified to teach both. Before going into education, I worked in 3 medical schools in educational media, mostly as a medical illustrator. For most of my teaching career, however, I've taught math. I worked in 2 K-12 systems and 2 K-8 systems here in the West Valley. We will gather inside the school on July 22nd at 5 p.m. It's wonderful to have this event in the same year that I am bidding farewell to this career. In closing, we would like to thank Miriam Barrera for her donation of 400 earbuds and Carmen Gomez for the $810 contribution toward kinder field trips at Quinton STEM Academy. And that's all I have this evening. Have a fantastic year, everybody.
Thank you. And just to clarify, I believe Meet the Teacher Night is July 25th, not the 29th, correct?
Did I say that wrong? It's the same night as Friday, right?
It's the same as the kickoff.
Yes.
The 25th. I'm just clarifying
Did I
it right
forget?
here.
I forgot to fix
You,
that.
yeah.
I just, for teachers and others, it's, I'm sure you.
For
know.
everyone listening, Meet
Now
the
we all
Teacher
know.
Night is the same as the kickoff, July 25th.
Thank you. Perfect.
All right.
All right, we got
See,
that.
it's time to go.
Time to go. Time to go. Next, we'll turn it over to Ms. Garrison for the program showcase.
Madam President, Governing Board, for several years now, we've had the opportunity to send a group of staff members to Mexico for an immersion experience during which participants learn about culture and language. Each year, I'm amazed to hear about the experience and how much value people find in participating in the Los Alumnos Academy. Dr. Durazo was one of the participants this year, and she's going to share the highlights from this year's trip. Dr. Durazo.
Buenas noches, President Reyes, members of the Governing Board, Dr. Freeman, and community. Gracias. Practicing. Tonight I will be sharing our program showcase outlining our district's trip to Ole Los Alumnos Academy in Santiago de Querétaro in Querétaro, Mexico. This first slide, we have an overview of the Los Alumnos Academy and the Carson affiliates.
Alumnos Professional Development Academy. Are you ready to embark on the journey to cultural competence? Join us at Los Alumnos Professional Development Academy for language immersion and cultural study. Fly directly into Querétaro, the colonial and historical heart of Mexico, one of the safest cities in the country and the home of the heroes of Mexican history, where the Grito de Independencia was shouted and the Mexican Revolution began. Experience the quiet neighborhoods, the spectacular plazas, historical monuments, and the tranquility and beauty of Centro Histórico. Stay with families fully vetted and trained by the school and who are experienced as hosts, who open their homes and provide a comfortable and safe space to our students and enable an inside view of family life. Enjoy the music, from mariachi to concertos. The art and the artists, from the indigenous to designers of today. Sample the unique foods from rural Mexico to first-class restaurants. And the even more unique drinks from pulque to rich dark coffees and Mexican chocolates. Experience the beauty of Mexico and her people, where every weekend one finds a special event or a performance in one of the historic plazas. Join your colleagues at Olé Center for Spanish Language and Culture, which provides a comfortable environment and home away from home for learning. Learn with students at your own level, then move at your own pace. Where class size is limited to just 5 students, with individual instruction available. Led by a knowledgeable guide each day, a tour takes you to churches and other sites of historical significance, as well as local museums that tell the story of Mexico from pre-Hispanic times to the implications of history on Mexicans today. Apply your learning in the bustle of the marketplace, chatting with your family, making new friends, and in activities at school. Visit Guanajuato, another site important to Mexican history. Hear about the Indian Pipila who stormed the royal granary for food, and experience the mysteries of the silver mines, among the richest in the world, that played a huge part in Mexican history themselves. The home of Frida Kahlo and birthplace of Diego Rivera, Guanajuato is a center for the arts and the site of the International Cervantino Festival. The Academy culminates with a celebration of achievement. You'll receive a diploma confirming the hours of language and cultural study. So whether you're a college student needing hours for your transcript, want to learn about public service systems like education, or healthcare, or public safety and workforce development, meet with the Chamber of Commerce to discuss business climate and opportunities, lunch with the local Rotary Club, or simply travel with greater ease across Mexico or Latin America, Carlson and affiliates and the Olé staff await you now. Our students say, the Academy has encouraged me to develop my own Spanish and confidence in using it to communicate. Use my struggle as a second language learner to reinforce how to help our second language learners. Step out of my English comfort zone and engage with parents and staff who speak Spanish. Teacher quality was outstanding. Classes were intense and extremely rewarding. This is a well-organized, safe, and fun learning experience. I cannot believe how much I learned in 2 short weeks.
So our journey began May 25th, and we were there through June 8th. I would definitely concur that it was a very safe city. We enjoyed festivities at night, after class, felt very safe throughout every part of Querétaro that we visited. Seeing the pictures makes me want to go back, Aurora. The abuela that was in the picture was my abuela, so makes me miss her. Our immersion experience. It's one thing to take a Spanish class, it's another to be immersed in language and culture. It was such a rewarding experience to learn the language, history, customs, and traditions of Mexico's beautiful culture. It truly made the language come to life. One of my many favorite memories in our trip was to the mercado. We were in teams and given a shopping list and dinero to purchase our items. We ventured to a traditional mercado with fresh meats, cheeses, fruits, vegetables, and my favorite, pasteles. We then had a salsa making challenge and learned to make aguafresas y chili rellenos. Our immersion activities. Our day began with classes at 8 and our last class ended at 6:30. We all enjoyed comida en la casa con abuelas. Our classes were intense, and I think we all have a new appreciation for what our English language learners go through in our own classrooms. We had amazing instructors who used high-yield instructional strategies. We would learn foundational skills in the morning and then practice conversational Spanish in the afternoon. Our maestras use games and songs to aid our learning, and now my morning playlist consists of mostly Spanish songs. So if you hear me bumping, that's what I'm listening to. We had the opportunity to visit Colegio El Grisol, a beautiful public school serving what we would refer to as high-risk student population. We toured the school to learn about their programs, but I think my colleagues and I would all agree our favorite part was interacting with the children. At that school, they also have a program to support the families. Parents get to come in and make crafts that they sell for profit. They share the profit with the school, so it benefits the families who are in need and also supports the school. And I spent a lot of money there. I was going to bring some of mine, but this is my new binder for this year, a traditional Lele doll, which we also had the opportunity to make and was amazing. So if you want to see my Lele, come to Lakin. She's on my desk. Our Spanish language immersion teachers this year, as you can see, we had a nice mix of grade levels. Spending 2 weeks together, we have created lasting bonds through shared experiences and that strengthen our Littleton team. I will pause now to allow you time to read the words of our colleagues that attended. That top picture is the winning salsa challenge, which I am acknowledging even though I'm not in the picture. They won the challenge, not my team, but I'm okay with it. Of course, our Lakin crew had to take a picture in front of a leone. Mm-hmm.
What was the total number that went? How many went?
11.
11?
10 teachers and 1 leader. And I would agree with the eloquent words of my colleagues and add that my experience was truly life-changing. I've always had ELL students in my classroom as a teacher and as an administrator, but to be one myself truly put it in a new perspective for me. So I will carry that forward to Lakin, and especially important, as Elliot said in his comments, to embrace our Spanish language, being at Lakin, and letting our students know we're learning just like you, and do my best to practice so I can communicate more effectively with our parents. I can understand a lot more than I can speak. My brain gets in the way, so I'm forcing myself. So if you speak Spanish, please only speak Spanish to me and force me to practice. But
That's pretty normal.
yes.
There seemed like there was amazing comments, and I'm sure everyone had a great time. It's always something people look forward to, so thank you.
Yes, and I would add, though, you know, we had an amazing time. It was a lot of fun, but mentally exhausting. It was intense,
what I
intense
heard.
learning, but well worth it. So with that, we just would like to thank Carlson and Affiliates and Littleton for this amazing opportunity and life-changing experience. Muchas gracias.
Well, thank you very much. Please
¿Hay
let the
preguntas?
staff know we appreciate that.
¿No preguntas?
My question isn't, it might not be for you, it might be for someone else, but how many of our staff apply to go to this program?
We actually had more people and some people canceled.
Okay.
It seems like 2 weeks is a big commitment for people.
Yeah, I would imagine.
And I don't know if the fact that we left in May impacted that. Like if they'd had another week, the Carson and Affiliates picks the windows, you know, and then we work into those trips. And it's because we start back with teachers so soon in July, it can be tough to fit in. We've had more people go before. I don't know that this is our smallest trip.
Is there like a cap? I guess I'm wondering like, is everyone who wants to go able to go, or how are we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We originally, I advocated, and Dr. Hayes supported, that we initially offered the opportunity to Lakin staff to support our cultural experience. But again, unfortunately, we had the most staff attend, but all of my staff, I'm gonna still work them and get them to go. Because now I can say, I've been, you need to go. So,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
amazing
Thank you very much.
and humbling.
This time, we're moving on to the consent agenda. Is there any items the board wishes to have pulled?
Do we have any call to public?
Oh,
No call.
yeah, okay. Any items on the consent agenda? Hearing none, I will have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion will pass. Thank you. We're moving on to item 10. It looks like Mr. French.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the governing board, Dr. Freeman, Littleton community. This evening, I'll be presenting the adopted expenditure budget for fiscal year 24-25. Oh,
I'm just recognizing that we're in recess, but we don't need a motion.
okay. We are holding this public hearing in accordance with ARS 15905, which requires districts to hold public hearings when adopting a budget and if a budget revision is required in December. This is the same budget the board saw in June. I'll be reviewing the same material for any public in the audience this evening. When looking at the budget life cycle, there are many dates and milestones the district follows. We begin looking at the budget in the spring in preparation to bring a proposed budget to the board in June.
Keep going.
Sorry. This is followed by a public hearing and adopted budget in July. In a typical year, the first revision would happen in December. Since the legislature didn't pass the state budget until late in the evening, June 15th, the Auditor General's office, is allowing districts to make their first revision in September to capture any lost budget capacity. In our proposed budget, the administration anticipated changes the legislature ultimately made, which means the district does not need to revise to capture any lost budget capacity in September. Other dates to note on this timeline include October 2024, which is the date the tax bills will be mailed to individuals and businesses within the district boundaries, and will include the primary and secondary tax rate. The district's last opportunity to revise the budget is in May, and the annual financial report, which is our report on the budget expenditures, is due to the state in October. As mentioned before, the legislature adopted a state budget on June 15th, and a mid-budget cut statewide education funding escaped relatively unscathed. In June, we assumed two pieces of information for the creation of the proposed budget. First, administration assumed the legislature would provide a statutorily required inflation funding to the base support level. This number is based on the consumer price index, or 2%, whichever is lower. With that being said, we had built the 2% into our base. This increases the base support level from $4,914.71 to $5,013, which is an increase of $98.29 per weighted ADM. The other assumption the administration made was the anticipated ADM growth for fiscal year 25. The district is estimating an ADM growth of 202 ADM, or 3.6% for this fiscal year. This is in line with the growth the district experienced last year and is slightly lower than demographer expectations for FY25 due to ESA growth over the past year. There are two pieces of the budget the district did not have information about when the budget was proposed in June. The state had not released any information on the possible increase in transportation route miles or district additional assistance. The state increased the transportation route miles from $2.37 a mile to $2.42 a mile. While this increase in route miles did affect the transportation support level, the transportation revenue control limit, which will be used for budgeting purposes, did not change. This means the general budget limit you see in the presentation in the next slide has not changed from June. There was also a statewide increase in district additional assistance of $23 million, but how that breaks down by district has not been calculated by ADE yet and cannot be, but will be captured in a future budget revision. Reviewing our M&O budget calculations, the base support level and transportation revenue control limit are added together to get a revenue control limit of $41.55 million. The M&O override is $6.23 million, an increase of $500,000 from prior year's 100th day count. We are currently estimated carry forward from FY24 of $4.9 million. This number can still be a bit fluid with orders coming in the last week of June and being able to pay through those through the last week of August. This is an increase from last year, but I want to remind the board that this is intentional because we're carrying forward a majority of the $1.4 million we received last year in one-time funding to fund our longevity program. There is a transfer to Energy Water Savings Fund of just short of $200,000. This is the same as the prior 3 years. An additional Prop 123 money of $359,000, providing an overall FY25 general budget limit of $52.91 million. This is an increase of $2.94 million from our last revised budget in FY24. A review of our district's assessed valuation history starts in 2015 and goes all the way up through 2024. As you can see in 2015 and 2016, a moderate increase in property values and strong growth. We also see strong growth from 2017 to 2021. Growth in the primary assessed value in 2022 of 12.38% and 10.84% in 2023 and 14.67% in 2024, which is the highest rate in the last 10 years. Annual growth of existing property is limited to 5% annually, which was Prop 117. However, growth from reclassification of property and construction is not limited. This upswing in value is credited to new construction in the district and the conversion of vacant land to residential property. With a high number of building permits in Avondale, it's expected the district will continue to see strong assessed value growth for the next few years as well. The next slide gives us a 10-year look back at tax rates for the district. Using preliminary calculations, the district is estimating the tax rate of FY25 of 4.6937, a decrease of 17.29 cents from last year. The decreased tax rate is largely due to a very strong growth in the assessed value from the last slide. On the next slide, we talk about truth in taxation, and truth in taxation statute deals only with the amounts of money levied in the Adjacent Ways Fund. This is funded on the primary tax rate and is authorized by the governing board. Littleton has set a levy for Adjacent Ways of $150,000 for the FY25 budget. A truth in taxation notice was posted, and this hearing is taking place with the adopted budget hearing tonight. Our publication of the truth in taxation requires the district post the levy amount for a $100,000 home with the levy and without. Without the levy, the rate would be $0, and with the levy on a $100,000 home, it would be $3.39. Just as a reminder to the governing board, Adjacent Ways is monies that we use to improve ingress and egress of our properties, as well as maintain fire lanes for our schools. At this point, I'd be happy to answer any questions the board has, or community.
Is there any questions from the board? And I see no questions from the community. So at this point, I will move the governing board reconvene the regular meeting at 6:30.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll move on to item 11, Mr. French.
Thank you, Madam President. Item 11 is just the action item for the adoption of the expenditure budget.
If you want him to present it again.
No, I think we're fine, thank you. So at this point, is there a motion?
I move the governing board adopt the adjacent ways levy in the expenditure budget for fiscal year 2024-2025 and the authorization of expenditures in the M&O section in excess of any subsections provided. All expenditures do not exceed the total budget.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion will pass. Thank you. Moving on to item 12, we just want to discuss the superintendent search and kind of let everyone know where we're at. It's not been secretive by any means, but there's a lot that goes into it and things that we know and don't know. So I think we're at a platform where we can have some discussion and share with the staff and community if they're here. We initially started out, as you know, this is Dr. Freeman's last year, and with that, the board members wanted to be highly engaged in the process. And so with that, we also required conversation with our legal representative, our attorney, to make sure we're doing everything we need to do in line with the requirements according to the Arizona law. At the board meeting in July, there was a motion and it was made and we hired Ray and Associates. They are the search firm that will be conducting the search to assist the board in the process and helping us engage in that process. This month, we're glad to be able to share a little bit more with you, and that we certainly understand those employees, and anytime leadership changes, we realize that can be difficult. It can be scary. Perhaps some people's excited. There's a host of many emotions that go on with that. So we're trying to be as transparent to you and let you know that we're very aware of all those things that go into that. As a result, we believe it's better for us to proceed carefully and strategically on this issue. It's a very big issue for this district and for the community and for the children that attend this district. So I'm hoping tonight that this remarks will give you at least some basic information of where we're at and what we're doing. We do have the search firm in place, and we are hoping to have a new superintendent near the beginning of the current school year. However, to be able to announce that this spring, Dr. Freeman's contract is designed to allow him to work into the first semester of this year. And he will help facilitate the important and critical transition of leadership, be there for historical reasons and future observation, and really just to assist, and we appreciate him doing that as well. The board has concluded that it would be best at this time, because of timeframes and all that goes into it, contractual requirements, that we are going to look for an interim superintendent to bridge the gap. And we're looking for a candidate to serve from this semester to the next fiscal year. Some of the thought that went into that from the board was you don't want to move too fast and do things just because of time frames, but you want to be strategic in your movement and make sure you're doing everything that you can to get the best leader for this district. This person will work with Dr. Freeman and the team, the leadership team, to ensure that all the essential functions of the district run smooth, that our employees are as comfortable with the transition as they can be. There's communication and transparency as much as possible, and we'll conduct our search, continue to conduct the search with Ray and Associates, so that will be going on behind the scenes. We hope to have the superintendent materials circulated and advertised sometime October, November. That's the goal. As a board, we understand the importance of community feedback, and we want to ensure that that opportunity sometime in November and December will take place. We don't quite understand how the format's going to look like, but we know it will happen. The governing board is also able to narrow the search to the most viable candidate. We're hoping that would target December and January. and with the goal of entering into a contract sometime in February of 2025. We look forward to providing you more details as they become available and sharing with you as much as we can. But we hope that you walk away with a little bit of understanding of timeframes, all that go into it, contractual obligations and board obligations that we must also comply with as well. So with that, if you have questions or comments, we'd like to hear them. This is the format to do them. And we appreciate you sharing that information with your colleagues and community. If you're asked, you know what we know at this point, so we'll keep you posted, and appreciate your paying attention and being part of the process. Okay. So at this point, looks like we're gonna convene into executive session. Let me see. Did the board have any discussion? Anything you wanted to add that I missed, or? If you ask me questions, I won't know any more than you do, so I don't think I could answer that. But certainly if you have feedback or comments, this would be the appropriate time to say it.
I just want to reiterate what President Reyes said, is that I think it's very important that our board is very united on this issue of finding a new superintendent who really shares the values, and we really see that we need to take this time to find a new superintendent who really fits the best for Littleton. So thank you for the update, and I really am eager for anybody to just provide feedback to the board on what we think that next leader should be, and how that format, when community outreach happens, the timeline President Reyes just listed, is we need to have, I would love to see this room packed, so with input. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? If not, we'll move on to item 13, and we will request a recess into executive session, and it's 6:37.
Somebody read the motion, please.
I know
I move that we recess to executive session pursuant to ARS 38431.03 to receive legal advice from the attorney regarding the position of interim superintendent, and for the discussion and consideration of employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, demotion, dismissal, salaries, discipline, or resignation of a public officer, appointee, or employee of the public body.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. We'll convene into executive session 6:38. Thank you. You're more than willing to stay. We may take action when we come out. It'll just depend on the outcome. So whatever that means to you, it means to you.
Matt?
So at this point, we're reconvening back into open session. The time is 7:10. Yes,
I move that we reconvene at 7:10.
thank you.
I second.
Thank you. I have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are now reconvened into open session. At this time, we are indicating that we are tabling this item, so there will be no action at this time. So we have tabled the item. We are going to keep the posting open at this time and with an undetermined date at this point. And next meeting, we will be notifying potential other candidates to have more discussion with that, and that will take place at our next meeting. With that, that's all there is to update you about that, and I will ask for a motion to close the meeting.
I motion we adjourn at 7:11.
I second.
There's a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the meeting will end at 7:11. Thank you.